Hey creators, welcome back to Create Your Best Life for a brand new video. I'm Kimani, a screenwriter and producer, and I really want all of the projects that I make to be binge-worthy because I love watching binge-worthy projects. Today, we are diving into how to make a mini-series for streaming that will grip your audience in a mystery, thriller, suspenseful way from episode 1 to the final twist, okay? We're working on, and I'm doing this with you, planting clues and red herrings like a pro, structuring tension and suspense, and not only keeping your audience guessing, but satisfied, okay? If you're working on a miniseries in the mystery, thriller, and suspense genres, this is a video for you to watch and rewatch and save, okay? Now let's get into the video. So what makes a miniseries different? Well, streaming in general just really loves miniseries. That's because they're tight, they're character driven, and they give you closure in about 4 to 8 episodes. Short and sweet. Now the key elements of a thriller mystery miniseries are as follows, okay? And I have my notes down here. That is a central mystery or question. That's who did it, what happened, when did it happen, why did it happen. A flawed but determined protagonist. A strong supporting cast with secrets. That's one of my favorites. And lastly, an episodic set of breadcrumbs that build to a finale payoff. You always want your project to pay off in the end. Like, build it up, make it suspenseful, make us excited, draw us in, give us that mystery, and then feed us all of the things that fill up the plot holes that you have given us. Now we're going to build our mystery, and then we have to hide it. Mystery mechanics. A strong mystery always starts with the core question. What is the one question that the audience needs answered by the end of this series? Once you know what your question is, once you know what your mystery is, you can reverse engineer it. You have to have whatever question, whatever mystery you're going to do, and then you can create those little holes and those little red herrings throughout. Okay, we're thinking The Residence, we're thinking Knives Out, we're thinking Murder on the Orient Express, anything Agatha Christie, to be perfectly honest. So when you do that, you're going to have to be thinking about what your audience will see in the beginning, throughout the beginning episodes, that will help them understand the story and the ending afterwards when they rewatch it. And quite honestly, that's one of my favorite parts about watching mysteries. It's getting to the end, it's the puzzle piece, using all the clues, getting to the end, knowing that you had already guessed who done it, but then realizing that you weren't sure exactly why, and then rewatching it and seeing all the clues, you're like, I should have noticed that before, but I didn't. It's like the perfect magic show. You want to make sure that you're giving people an experience, right? It's an exhilarating experience, but you also want to use distraction. That's the whole point of a red herring. Distract them. That way they're not thinking about what's really happening. They're only thinking about what's directly in their face. You know what I'm saying? So here's some tips that I have concluded. Have your clues. You want to sprinkle in a little bit of truths here and there, like I said, that the audience will overlook, and you want to make them replayable, as in you watch again and they realize that, oh, I missed this part. So obviously make them as subtle as possible. The second tip is what I mentioned before, a red herring. You want to misdirect by making a clue that looks suspicious, but it's really not. It could mean something else. And the third tip is foreshadowing. Foreshadowing is such a cool one, but it can be overdone and just too obvious, so you want to make it a little more subtle. This can be in dialogue, in imagery, in flashbacks, and it has to be a subconscious hint. Using sharp objects as an example, the paint color in a character's room is a subtle hint to the end of the film. It's shown very early, but you don't realize it until you get to the finale. So here's another one of my favorite parts about mysteries and thrillers. How do you craft tension and suspense? Because thrillers thrive on suspense, you got to make sure that the tension is coming from what the character wants versus what's standing in their way. So 3 things to build suspense. Information hierarchy. You want to make sure your audience knows something that your character does not. For instance, all the old cartoons, the character is looking into the camera and they're standing right behind me, aren't they?
Like I said, son of a bitch doesn't answer. He's right behind me, isn't he?
We already know the tension was created for us. We see the monster behind them. They haven't noticed it until just now. So the tension is there for us, which is who you need it for, but we don't really feel it until the character feels it, I don't know about y'all, but I really need to stop saying That's just, it's one of those filler words that I can't shake. The next way to build suspense is giving characters secrets. You got to give every major character something to hide. This makes us curious and just creates a little mystery about each character to where we're like, they might have motive. That way we suspect everyone and there's no obvious suspect. And the third way is give us a slow reveal. Don't give the audience everything at once. Just give us little tidbits. Make us wanting more. Breadcrumb us, okay? So now that we have figured out roughly what a mystery thriller suspenseful miniseries requires, I have really wanted to focus on breaking my story down into its arc and breaking it down into a number of episodes. And so my story in particular that I've been working on is a 9-episode story, and I have given it the series story arc. I've given each of my main characters an arc, and you definitely have to make sure that you have your beginning, midpoint, and your end point. And I already know roughly what the end point is. I know how it starts, and I had to fill in the middle to make sense so that I got from first episode to episode 9. And 9 episodes is kind of weird. It's an odd set, but art is subjective. I can do what I want. But in order to help you guys, because by relearning it and studying it, I'm also helping myself to hone it in and memorize it. I want to give you guys ways to understand the structure for an 8 or 9 episode miniseries. So here it goes. First, you're going to start episode 1 with the hook. It's basically like treating it, which is really cool, like the way that Shonda Rhimes told us about a series arc in writing episode 2 in her masterclass on screenwriting, which you can carry that over to all types of shows, is you introduce the central mystery, you introduce your characters. What are the who, what, when, wheres, and whys? Make sure that we understand our world in that episode and just hook us in, draw us in, and give us that plot hole that the audience wants to fill up. So once you have your main mystery and your crime, you want to share your protagonist's stake in it, as well as hint at the world's deeper secrets. And I think I've done a pretty good job at that with episode 1, if I do say so myself. So in episode 2, you want to start uncovering the surface. You share your initial suspects, those start to emerge, then you drop your first clues. You can also start sharing your red herrings here. And this is where your protagonist can also start to commit to solving the crime or mystery, or just surviving whatever the dark evil encounter is. In episode 3, you can have your past and present collide, which is a lot of fun because you can use that foreshadowing. You can use the flashbacks, which are always a lot of fun. And in this episode, we kind of start to suspect some of the people closest to our protagonist as the evil person who's part of this mystery. Episode 4, you're kind of nearing your midpoint here, and that's where you get to what is called a false breakthrough. So at this point, your protagonist thinks that they've solved the mystery because of the red herrings. Your audiences think they've solved the mystery as well, but then you get a redirect, you get more information, the stakes rise, you are introduced to more compelling evidence about who some of your suspects are, and you might even have someone die or disappear. By episode 5, you should have your midpoint shift. So this is oftentimes a big twist where a new angle on your mystery is revealed. This could be a second crime, the revealing of an unreliable character, or it could be revealed someone has another secret motive, which is also fun. Episode 6 would be the spiral. In the spiral, everything starts to unravel. The audience questions every single thing they've seen before in previous episodes. There are people that you just don't trust, whether that's the truth or a lie, and it's just a lot going on. You start to question every single character's motives at this point. We don't know who's who. In episode 7, the truth emerges, the truth is revealed. Some of them, not all of the truths, but you get what I'm saying. We get some flashbacks, we get some confessions about the how, but not necessarily the why, and we start to reach an emotional peak from the stakes hitting more personal. In episode 8, you get the final reveal, and this is where the full mystery is solved, resolved. The actual villain is revealed along with their motives, their how, their whys, everything. And all of that should be very clear by episode 8. If you're going to end it at episode 8, this is a great place to stop it because you will have filled in all of your holes. The audience is satisfied because they have the villain, they have why they committed this crime or whatever the mechanism is that is creating this mystery, and then you get to understand how they orchestrated this crime as well. But if you want to carry your story further and have an episode 9, your episode 9 could be your fallout or resolution. And that's pretty self-explanatory. But basically, you can use this episode to tie up any loose ends that you could possibly think of. You can show all of the consequences of what happened in the previous episode. And this episode also gives you the time and the room to explore the deeper emotional consequences of what the mystery has done to the person, the people, the community. And then you also get to add a little bit of an unexpected beat. Like in this moment, sometimes you could leave it where there's a cliffhanger to have a second season, but that's defeats the purpose of a mini series. But you know, sometimes if you want to leave it on a cliffhanger, that could be fun, but don't make it like cheesy to where it's like we could do without it. You want people to actually be hungry for more, you know what I'm saying? So all that to say, basically what you want for each episode to do is reveal a new layer of truth, misdirect, or give us a little bit of danger. Now we can talk about making these things all day long, but how do we make it good and bingeable? We want the people to keep coming back for more, all right? So to be fair, a good miniseries in the mystery thriller categories, genres, if you will, they feel inevitable. Like you know that something bad is going to happen, but you know that something good is going to come out of it. But you don't want to make it too predictable, if that makes sense. You want to make it so that your audience knows something good is going to come out of it, but they don't know the how, and they don't really have a full inkling of who is part of this mystery. So one way that I have learned, which is probably my favorite part of storytelling, is making stories character driven versus plot driven. I think that character driven makes it more special. It makes you more invested, and it really like brings the story home in terms of why people come back to watch it. So make sure you have your mystery there and it's nice and solid, and that's to hook them, but they stay for the character. Another way to do this is incorporate a really good theme. Is it justice? Is it race relations? Is it mental health? Is it trauma? Is it redemption? Is it love? It can be all these things, but make sure that theme is something that is very strong and it could tie into your mystery. And obviously the third thing is emotional stakes. Like we don't watch stories just to watch them. We watch them because we want to feel something. Give us some strong emotional stakes in this. Does someone die? Does someone get broken up with? Is someone, I don't know, I hate to say it, is someone sick? Is someone losing a job? Like, are people getting murdered or poisoned? Whatever. What is the thing that makes us interested? And make it so that it hits home for your protagonist, because if it doesn't hit home for your protagonist, it's not going to hit home for you as the writer, and it's not going to hit home for your audience as well. Think about all of the projects that you have watched to where you feel an emotional connection to your protagonist. That's why you watch it. That's why you stayed. That's why you loved it. Make sure that your audience is left feeling something. So after all of this research, I've come to find out that building a mystery thriller series, which has been so much freaking fun, I must tell you, just adding all of the twists and turns, it's basically like doing a puzzle. It's like building a puzzle just to confuse your audience and really confuse yourself, and you surprise yourself at how good it is. Trust me, you will surprise yourself at how good and fun and entertaining your story is by adding all of the holes and the clues throughout. And basically you are using all of the pieces. Each piece is being used in each scene. So make sure that you're sprinkling your clues and your pieces in every single scene of your show, and that way you are building upon it, kind of like a Lego set. You're building upon it, and it's just going to be this great masterpiece when you're done. I don't know if I told you guys, but I offer services where I proofread, and I also help build upon story ideas with other people. You can find my services on my website. So if you're interested in building your story from a log line to an outline, definitely hit up my website, book a consultation call. We can discuss it and book more time, and we can see what we can do with your story to bring it to life. If you also want to do it as a group, feel free to drop your log line or your general idea in the comments below. And I think it'll be a fun activity for all of us to do together. And if you're really interested in us doing it together as a group, I could even make a video about it. We can bring it to life as a team in a brand new video coming up soon. That could be a lot of fun. If this video was equally as helpful for you as it was for me, hit the like button, share with a friend, hit the notification bell so you are alerted every single time I post a brand new video. This is one of the surefire ways that you definitely have access to and see my videos, because the algorithm is trash. But I'm so grateful to have you guys here. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't joined the fam. This is so much fun. I love doing this video. So coming up, I think I'm going to do more spooky season stuff, but in terms of these types of videos, I think I'll break down maybe The Residents, because it was canceled and it ended up being a mini series versus a full-fledged long-standing TV show, which I'm very sad, bummed, pissed about, but not surprised about. But I think that'll be a good time. It'll force me to, not force me, it'll give me an excuse to rewatch The Residents, because it was such a good TV show. And obviously I want to champion Black women filmmakers, and so Shonda Rhimes did it, and Xoxo is the main character, so I'm really excited to watch that again and really just dissect it and get into the nitty-gritty of it. So we're going to dissect that using some of these structure tips and identifying all of the clues that they sprinkled in throughout the early parts of the season. So if you're excited for that, give me a thumbs up and comment down below, and we can also like analyze some other projects, not just like ours, not just mine. Like, comment below what other projects you want to analyze. This was so much fun for me. I hope that it was fun for you guys. Don't forget to let me know if this is helpful for you moving forward in some of your other projects. I'd love to hear about your projects, and I am so excited to bring more videos to you guys like this. Spooky season is coming, so we're going to be watching all the things. I just started Wednesday season 2, so that's going to be fun, and I'm reading a ton of books. Like right now I'm reading Immortal Dark, and it's a good time. So I love you guys. Until next time, go create your best life today.